Okay. All right. Okay. Good day, everyone. Good evening. Um, I hope you can hear me. I think we have 135 hours in session, so I think it's already 8:10, and better we start the day before it gets too late. All right. So my name is Kalaivaanan Murthy. Okay, I graduated from University of Malaya from the Faculty of Law in 2017, and currently I'm attached with the Attorney General's Chamber, or what is better known as the Jabatan Peguam Negara, and I am currently serving as a deputy public prosecutor, or what we call in Bahasa as Timbalan Pendakwa Raya, in the beautiful island of Pulau Pinang. So that's a bit of introduction about me, but it is not the focus of the session. So without further ado, let me introduce our distinguished speaker for the day, Miss Visalakshi Supramayam. Miss Visha, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Hi, Kalai.
Hi, Miss Visa.
Good
How are you?
evening.
You could you
Good,
can
good.
you can unmute your video so that we can. Yeah. Okay.
Okay,
Hi. All
I've
right.
done it.
Good evening,
All
Miss
right.
Visa.
Hi, good evening.
Thank
Thanks
you
for
for
having me today.
yes. Thank you for spending your Monday evening with us. So Miss Visha is a lawyer of 20 years of experience and standing. So it it is a coincidence that this year we would commemorate her 20th year in practice. So congratulations to
Oh,
Miss
thank
Visa.
you. And
All
hi to
right.
everyone too.
Yes. So Miss Visha, before I start off with questions and so many questions and issues that the participants have enlisted uh, before joining the session, so I would like to start off with a bit of introduction on the organizers for today's session. Okay, so I
Yeah,
have a short slide to present here. So I'll be presenting my slide now. All right. All right. So I think you guys can see me. So today's session is organized by none other than concerned Indian graduates. Okay, we are a group of graduates who have been running social empowerment programs entitled IPTA My First Choice for the past 11 years. It is actually a program that is designed to promote government funded public institutions to students, SPM, STPM, diploma, matriculation leavers. So, our primary focus would be to actually promote public institutions to students. That is our number one goal. So today's discussion, even though I've actually looked through your backgrounds of participants, I do note that there's a variety of participants today, Ms. Visha,
yeah.
especially those from international schools. There are students from, there are senior members, senior working adults, they are from a plethora of backgrounds here. But we would be focusing on the opportunities available in government funded or public funded
Hmm.
institutions for the purpose of discussion of today. So if participants may have questions, additional questions on other pathways, you can actually write, comment to us or write to us. Maybe we can help to supply some information to you all. But today's session will be focusing on government funded public institution. So in our this is our
Right.
logo for the campaign, IPT My First Choice. So this series of talk, this career talk on legal industry or on how to become a lawyer is actually a part of our IPT My First Choice series, career series. And in our program, in our IPT My First, we have five main objectives that we have enlisted. Number one is to reduce education debt by promoting students to public institution. Number two, having diploma as a minimum qualification. This is across all, how to say, all students. Those from SPM leavers or SCPM leavers. We want to promote diploma as a minimum, at least a minimum qualification. We want to promote more participation of our students in civil service. We want to encourage students to take up more languages, at least four languages, and we want to achieve more number of seats in government funded public institutions. So these are the objectives of our campaign, and this is our social media accounts. We have Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. It's Cumic Malaysia. You can go, you can search, and you can like, and you can follow, you can comment. We focus mainly on tertiary education guidance. So we post up informations, data, etc., on daily basis for all purpose of sharing. So that is a bit about our organizer or sponsor for the day. So that is a part. So we are actually moving forward. We are at the first juncture of our legal career or legal series talk. So I would start off with a brief introduction on the pathways to become a lawyer. Miss Visha actually would go to the details of it, but I will start off with the pathway. So as usual in Malaysia, SPM is the you can say SPM is one of the most important exams for secondary leavers. So after your SPM, you can take up a few pathways to become or to join um, later on to join a degree or bachelor program in law. So these are the pre-university courses that is available for an SPM leaver. We'll be starting off with STPM, Asasi, matriculation or diploma, and also there are also opportunities available offered in private institutions like the following: matriculation, Australian matriculation, IBDB, A level, foundations. So those on the top are the opportunities available in the government funded institution, public institutions that we promote on daily basis. And apart from that, there are also opportunities available in the following programs. So after your pre-university um, course, which would take up a year or two, then you would have to enroll in a bachelor's program. So there are two types of program. There are 4 years of program, and there are also 3 years program. So 4 years program do come together with the final year, which we call as the professional year. And those universities that do offer a 4 year program are the one on your left, which is University of Malaya, UKM, UUM, UNISA, UIA, UITM. So these institutions do offer a 4 years program, and after your 4 years program, you can actually enroll yourself into pupillage. Now register yourself for pupillage, and upon completion of pupillage, you can get called to the bar, or you can enroll yourself as a solicitor or an advocate and a solicitor in the High Court of Malaya. There is also, apart from the public institutions that we promote, there's also opportunities if students do wish to venture out to UK, and you have upon completion of your bar, which is enlisted here, you can also uh, be considered as a qualified person to be called to the bar. Apart from that, those who do not fall into the first two categories, they can subsequently take up CLP, and I've enlisted number of programs, local and also from foreign universities. And upon completion of those programs, you can take up CLP. CLP is for a period of 9 months. Okay, it's here. So upon completion of CLP, you can also be called to the bar. So these are the entry requirements for CLP. And starting from this year, a candidate must have five C's, 5 C's in SPM. So that is important. And you are only allowed a maximum of 4 attempts at the CLP. But those students who have graduated from University of Malaya, UKM, UUM, UNISA, UIA, UITM, and also from National University of Singapore, you will be exempted from sitting for CLP. So those who are not from those institutions would have to sit for a CLP. So that is how it works, right? And upon completion of your CLP, you can continue to do your pupillage. which is 9 months for Peninsular Malaysia and 12 months for Borneo. We will be focusing more on Peninsular Malaysia or Malaya, and then subsequently you'll be able to enroll as an advocate and solicitor in the High Court of Malaya. So that is a bit of presentation on from my side. So now I would like to invite Miss Bisha to actually um, detail out on what are the basic educational qualification to become a lawyer in Malaysia. So Miss Bisha.
Okay, thanks, Kale. And again, very good evening to everyone. I think basically Kale has given a very brief but detailed introduction on how do we start up our career in the legal field in Malaysia. So the basic education, if you ask me, of course, most of us would have this SPM qualification, as many of us are from the government school. And once you complete your SPM, that's where you decide to go on to pursue your career in a law. So you got to decide the next step where you have a pre-university level. And as I must take this opportunity to congratulate QMIC for their effort to promoting our public universities, and it's really a very good job done by QMIC. So well done to QMIC. And okay, the journey, if you see, is after SPM and also after STPM. So if after SPM, I think as Khaled explained earlier, you have a few pathway to take, like you have a matriculation, diploma, that is in a public universities, and also we have the private uni pathway. And um, another one is the STPM. So those who took STPM, they will have the opportunity to enter public university directly to the law faculty. So there are few options. So it's all depends on the individual, which level you are taking. This is from basically we are talking for the students, probably those adults who want to pursue the legal field or law when you are already in the working. That is another pathway, but it's not much different actually. Probably only thing, the option in a public university is limited, but nevertheless there's no age limit to be a lawyer. Okay. And duration to complete our law studies or law degree usually will take about 4 years to get your LLB. Okay, that this is the basics to enter a law faculty in public university and also private universities. But as Kale said, today our focus is more on the public universities. I think Kale, did I miss
Yes,
out anything about?
I
I
think you
think
have
we are.
covered it well, Ms. Visha. And just to add a small little point, if those who are looking to continue your studies part time, there's also Bachelor of Jurisprudence external
Yes,
program
right,
in
right.
University of Malaya.
Yep.
So that is another option
The
that
but as you said, correct. That is those for who don't get enrolled to the law faculty like after their STPM, but it's always a very good opportunity to pursue your Bachelor of Jurisprudence in University of Malaya. But of course, that one you have to do your CLP. Unlike those law faculty students, we are exempted from the CLP exam and we can start our pupillage after graduation.
yes, very well.
Yeah.
So, Ms. Visha, now moving on, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, students would call it chambering, some would call it pupillage. So,
Pupillage, right.
what is it all about?
Okay.
What do students do during
Pupillage.
pupillage?
Okay. You know, when we complete our 4 years of legal studies or law faculty, when we graduate, there will be like different ideas for the graduate. You know, not everybody going to practice their law. Some will venture out to enter corporate sector, or they might go to lecturing, because variety of career opportunities are available for law grads. So if you decide you want to be admitted to our as a advocate and solicitors, which is you'll be admitted to the High Court of Malaya for Peninsula and High Court of Borneo for Sabah and Sarawak. Before that, you have to do a 9 months kind of like we say internship, something like internship, but we have a special term where we call it pupillage or chambering. That is the period that you have to undergo before you will be called to the bar. So you can't escape from that
Yeah.
9 months training, but that is the starting of your legal career. So that's where you will before you call yourself as an advocate and solicitor, you have to undergo the internship called chambering to learn all the skills or whatever is necessary before you enter the real world. So that's chambering, or we also call it pupillage, but chambering is the more common term that you can always
Okay, Ms. Isha. Now,
is
what do
it clear?
students do? It is breaking. It is breaking a bit. Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Could
Is
you
it
hear?
clear?
Okay.
Can
Now,
you hear me?
yes, yes, I do. I can.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Isha. Now, moving on. What do those? Let's say a student has completed his or her degree, a Bachelor of Laws from the local university.
Mhm.
So they are now
All right.
looking for a place to complete their pupillage. So how do
Right.
students have to prepare themselves mentally, and
All right.
how to
Mhm.
actually, what they can look forward for the next 9 months to come? How do they prepare for the 9 months?
All right. Okay. When a law faculty graduate, upon graduation and you decided to do your chambering, the most important thing is you have to look for a firm who will take, whereby the firm is willing to take you as their pupil. Because it's not that all the firms need a chambering students, you see, because we have like a big firm, small firm, medium size, some are sole proprietors. So not every firm is ready to take you as a chambering student. So it's the duty of the graduate to find a firm to to do their pupillage. And how do you go and find the firm? It's because we have lots of legal firms in Malaysia, but each firm they will have their core business which focus in a different field of law. Some will just do cases, some will be just doing conveyancing matter, some will do mix of everything. So if you want to start a chambering, you have to go and look for a firm or try to find out which is according to your, if better it's follow your interest, because only you will know what in what field you want to pursue your legal career. Okay, if you are interested in criminal matter, so you have to look for firms whereby they are doing more criminal matters. So that's where you can get all your exposure, your skill. You can learn, but because if you want to learn about criminal matter, but you go to a firm which fully doing conveyancing, it's defeat your purpose. You see, so that's very important to find a firm that suits you. Okay, that is the first thing. Once you join a firm and the firm is willing to take you, so each firm will allocate a lawyer which we call as a master, pupil master. So each pupil will have one master. And under our Legal Profession Act, they allow each at one time, any master can take maximum of 2 pupils. That's the maximum. If you want to take more, you have to get a approval from the bar council. Actually, I think it makes sense because if you're having too many pupil under you, you can't really focus on them, you see. So that's why I think they have this limit of 2 pupil at one time. Okay, so this pupil master is the kind of like your mentor during the chambering period of 9 months. So but not necessarily you only have to rely on your masters, because if the firm has many lawyers, you can always learn from the other lawyers, because different firm they will operate in differently. Sometimes there will be different department. So during the 9 months period, you will have the opportunity of being put under the different department. So you can learn more, like they have a conveyancing department, banking, law, and criminal law or corporate. So you get to learn a bit of everything. Of course, 9 months is not enough to learn everything, but you will get the opportunity to learn some basic things before you yourself being admitted to the bar and to be registered as a full-fledged advocate and solicitor. So it's very important to find a firm and also a pupil master that suits you. So because if you don't have that platform, you won't enjoy your 9 months of chambering. And I'm afraid end of 9 months, you might say, oh, I'm not going to practice law. So it's very, so you have to have a very good start to ensure you enjoy that 9 months period. So during these 9 months, what do you do? There are many things that you will be learning, because what you have to understand, what we have learned 4 years in our university while we are pursuing our degree, it's actually totally different when you come out, right? I think it's not only for law faculty. In fact, for I think every students which comes up from university also will say that why what I we learn and it's not what we are seeing in the real world. So it's more kind of, this is more a practical thing that you are doing. So maybe in university it's more of a theory. So now you are seeing the real thing, what we have to do on a daily basis as a lawyer, as an advocate. So and then you have to assist your master to do some research if there is a hearing going on. So while you're doing research, you'll have the opportunity to learn how you're going to present a case in front of a judge or in front of a magistrate. Okay, if you are doing criminal matters, you have to liaise with DPP. Okay, if you are doing a civil litigation, you will have to, if you are on plaintiff, you have a defendant solicitor. So if you are defendant, then you have to liaise with your plaintiff. It's all during that course of helping your pupil master or other lawyers in the firm, you will learn. And you must always remember, ask questions. You don't expect your master to tell you, hey, come, let me teach you. It's not that way. It doesn't work that way most of the time. It's you have to ask what you don't know. You don't wait for your master. Of course, there will be masters who are willing to share their experience and all, but sometimes due to their work nature, they also rushing to catch their deadline. You have to answer to the banks, to the clients, so they might not think, though maybe they never come across, oh, I have to tell my pupil all these things. So you will know what you want to know. So you please feel free to ask question, or that's where you can learn many things. Okay, and during chambering time, you can please be more initiative to draft documents. You might not do it correctly at the first time. It's okay to make mistake. That's where we will learn. You see, I mean, we are fresh graduates. What do you expect? You won't know everything, right? So the more you do mistakes, actually you will learn better. And you can always sometimes we might end up doing some clerical work. It's okay. Don't complain. Don't fret about it. Because one day you might be a sole prop firm where you have to do everything. So that's the important that we must try to grab as much as info during our 9 months of chambering. So
Yes,
and
yes,
when
right.
so when come to chambering, another important issue now is the allowance paid to
Yes.
the chambi. Okay, we call chambi is the chambi student, right? I mean, I remember during my time, I chambered in KL. I started with 500. So 500 for the first 3 months, and then 700 the
Then
second
after your
three
short
months.
call, there'll be
Yeah.
increment
So,
and
I
so
mean,
on.
for us at that point of time, we never really think much about the allowance part, but situation is different now. So there are lots of issues about how much are you going to pay me. You must understand, not some legal firm, not all the legal firm have a big business volume. If you are lucky enough to get into a big firm, you will be lucky to get a bigger allowance. But we have to have this we cannot have much of this. How much I'm going to earn for my chambering? You won't earn much. I mean, you can't earn much compared to maybe your other friends from other faculty. They will be starting salary 2000 or 2005, but most likely you can't expect that for the first 9 months. But it's okay. This is your platform to learn to be a better lawyer in future. So you of course most I mean almost all the firms, they will pay you allowance. It's just matter of different rate of allowance. So all these things, to avoid any disappointment, you have to ask during interview. If you are not happy, you don't join that firm. You can then look for another firm which suits your target or what you need, or your need. So it's all, again, it depends on the graduate, what they want, what kind of firm, what kind of masters. No, it's again, it's a two-way communication. You can't just like wait for the firm to come. You nowadays actually it's getting very difficult for the firm to take in chambering students, because it's a I mean, we can't blame the firm also. It's all the cost factor. You see.
Yeah, it's a challenging time for
Yes, it's
all the
there for
industries.
everyone.
Now,
So yeah,
choosing
Kali.
the choosing coming to the point that you have touched earlier, in
Mm-hmm.
which you have to look at the field that you want to venture into after your completion of your degree. So, what are
Mm-hmm.
the common practice areas after in as a litigator, or
Okay.
even as a non-litigator? What are the common areas of practice that
Okay.
students must
Okay.
look at?
Generally, I mean, from my experience, because I'm practicing in Kluang. Kluang is just a small town. So we don't have many firms which specialize. We are more of a combination of all kind of matters. But unlike KL, you have firms which are like they are so specific in their area of practice. So generally, most of the firms we will have uh, when you come to litigation, right? Criminal matters, banking litigation, and family law, corporate, and you will have some of these firms which specialize in IP, intellectual properties, and there are firms who do human rights, and then wills, probate, bankruptcy, medical negligence, and another very common one is personal injury, where we call as runner matters, accident matters. These are the areas of uh, law or which many firms will do, but nevertheless, we always have some firm who only specifically do very like specialized field like maritime law. No, which many firms don't really do it, because you really have to be specialized and you have the manpower to do that sort of firm. And but the advantage of being in KL is you have the opportunity to have access to all these uh, specialized field of firms. So so if you feel like you wanted to do that specific one, you have to go and approach. Maybe they want to take you as a chambering student. Then you can start your I mean your journey from there. You see. Otherwise, most of the medium-sized legal firms, they will have all this combination of all these various law practice, and of course you'll also have a conveyancing. So it's a matter of you have to decide, you want to be a litigator or you want to be a conveyancer. So you can do both, no harm. Also, we, because in Malaysia we don't, unlike UK where their system works differently. Here there's no much difference between an advocate and solicitor, so we can
Correct.
do both. So
It's a
you can,
fused
and
profession.
yes, it's like, after some times, like maybe after 5 6 years of practice, then you will realize, oh, okay, looks like this is my area that I wanted to do. Or you can specialize at that point of the time. Because for me, if you ask, when you are starting to practice, it's always give opportunity to yourself to learn everything, because you wouldn't know what you like if you have not tried the others, right? So when
Correct.
you have
Correct.
tried various field, then you will know, oh, looks like my liking is towards this, or my expertise is in this field, so I want to pursue that field. So at least you are giving opportunity to yourself to experience various fields or area of the law.
Yes, Ms. Fisha, and coming to, I mean, these are the practice areas available for
Mm-hmm.
a private litigator.
Correct.
But how about the opportunities in government? Quickly,
Okay.
a s- a look into opportunities in the government
Okay,
sector.
when you say, I mean, I think this would be Kale would be the best person to speak about the government sector for a law graduate. But again, what I would say is, law degree is a very versatile degree. So if you think after graduate you want to enter a public service, right? So we have the AG chambers where you will start all this career as a DPP, magistrate, no. And I think there are also like legal pegawai undang-undang in
Right.
ministries, and then you also have this sector, what we call this as pegawai tadbir, the diplomatic PTDs.
Yes.
Because I know there are a number of law graduates in PTDs. So when you get into the PTD services, and with your legal expertise, you will be placed as a pegawai undang-undang under the ministries or the government agency. I think, I mean, pardon me if I don't get it right. I think that's how the government, the public service works for a law graduate. But I mean, personally, I've known number of law graduate in PTD services apart from those in AG chambers. So I think we even have like in a state level also we have lots of this agency negeri, right?
Well,
So I think it's just that maybe unlike the private advocate and solicitor, you might not need to do your chambering period. You can still directly get to enter a public service and be placed as a pegawai PTD or an AD chambers without doing your chambering. Am I right, Kale?
correct, correct. That's true.
Okay. I think this, so again, it's a very vast and very wide. It all depends what you want. And this is, we are only talking about the private and government public sector. But we also have like UN agencies, which unfortunately I see not many of our young graduate or try to tap on that, because I think UN agency also is another, I mean, area where many agencies will accept a law graduate. But again, it's up to you to pursue, because that is not just within Malaysia. It's more of a international level when we are talking about UN. So
Mhm.
it's I think it will be a very interesting thing also about when you try to explore about all these UN agencies.
All right. Now, if let's say a student chooses to become a conventional lawyer, a private
Mm,
practitioner,
yeah.
so what would be the role of a lawyer? What are the responsibilities of a lawyer?
Okay. When you come law, okay. Uh, Again, as a lawyers, we have our code of ethics. I think code of ethics, every profession should have that. I think they have that. So again, but when come to a legal practice, it's quite the law or the lawyers, it's quite strict, where we have to follow certain law of ethics. And if you breach certain duty which a lawyer should have done, you must take the consequences, because we can face disciplinary proceeding. So when we are doing every single thing that you are doing as an advocate and solicitors, you always must, behind your mind, you always say, hey, make sure I don't be sued for a negligence. No, it's very important, because once you sued for a negligence, the consequences can be quite heavy for a lawyer. So uh, bear that in our mind. We, as a lawyer, we always have to ensure when we are advising our clients, it's something according to the law, definitely. Okay. And we always have to be transparent transparent with our clients, because I mean, there are bad apples in every field that you can't deny it, but you follow your conscious. You follow your conscious. When you are advising your client, you ensure what your client is a layman. He might say, "Oh, I want this, I want that," but you, as a lawyer, you have to advise him according to our law. You can't just bulldoze off the law and just for the money's sake, you say, "Okay, can I do it? I do it." Because end of the day, it's us going to get into trouble if there's any disciplinary proceeding, right? So that's why I mean, I always try to tell myself, if I need to do things which my client refused to take your advice, then you have to put it in writing. Tell, I already said this, you are not taking if any consequences, but don't forget, if it's going to be detrimental to your own career, I would rather happy to discharge myself as a lawyer to act for that particular client. No, because I don't want to earn one time from the client and then I'll be sued for the negligence and then I can't practice my law. It's no, it's not worth end of the day. So I mean, to, of course, we have to try our best to respect our client's interest, but at the same time to ensure we carry out the justice and we follow the law as which will be benefit to our client, but within the ambit of our legal system. I think that should be the duty of every lawyer.
Now, talking about becoming a lawyer, I
Mm-hmm.
think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I would say that the number one quality that one must have is problem solving and critical thinking. So, in your opinion, what sort of personalities that one should have, maybe as a student, as a graduate, that one should enhance in order to become a good lawyer? What sort of skills and personalities that is needed in the fraternity?
Okay, I get you. Okay, generally, what is the public like perception to be a lawyer? You have to be like, you have to talk a lot. You have to be like, very argumentative. You have to like, every single thing you must argue. That is the general perception that people has when you say, "Oh, I want to be a lawyer," and they also will say, "Oh, I am a very shy person. I cannot be a lawyer." I think no, that's not true, because throughout my experience practicing, I have seen lawyers with a different characters. No, it's not always true. It's not like what we see in Tamil movies, where they will be banging the banging the table and
Yeah,
shouting.
yeah.
No, I think if we do that in our court, you'll be cited for contempt of court, right? Okay, so even you are a shy person, you as I said again, it goes back to the various area of law. I mean, you can still pursue a legal career, but you choose the area as per your personality, right? If you are a person who doesn't want to deal much with clients, fair enough, you can always go to the corporate is more of the papers. They are more of the minutes of the board meetings. Okay, you may be only seeing the management level of the company. You don't see a lay person. But if you are a person who likes to meet people, then you can go to the litigation where it deals like family law. No, it's very, you need to have some empathy for family law, where you can't, if you like to do that, so you have a choice. So I don't see a specific trait that we must have it to be a lawyer. Anyone can pursue this law, but it's just that you have to enhance your skill once you pick up the area that you want to focus. Because because law changes almost very frequently. You say it's not like fixed for 100 years, so you have to keep up with the changes. So if you have to make sure if you are 20 years in practice, you will know everything. You must be willing to learn from the younger generation. Maybe they will have like all the info in their fingertips. So we have to willing to learn. I think that's very important because if you're not willing to learn, you will never get to update your with the latest development in law. And sometimes being a lawyer, you have to exchange ideas with your fellow lawyers. Your even those we sometimes when we see DPP for your criminal matters, you have to build up the relationship because actually I find it in the when in the court, or most of the time we can do our cases better when there's a cordial relationship with your opponents, be it DPP or your the opponent lawyer for civil litigation, or even in that matter for the court people. It's always important to know your judge, right?
Correct.
So if you so it's again all these skills as you go along with your practice. Slowly we will learn. Of course, the first 1 2 years will be quite difficult and challenging, but slowly we should be learn from our seniors. I must say most of the seniors are willing to help. No, it's just that the juniors sometimes you have to open up to them, say okay, like if you finish your cases, then you can sit in the court to see how the senior lawyers are presenting their cases. That's how you're going to see the practice. Of course, you can buy books and all these things to read, but nothing beats like you are seeing in action. You see, so I used to do that. Luckily, I chambered in KL. That time we had opportunity to see our late Karpal Singh and all these things. When you are in chambering, when you see Karpal Singh, you will get all excited. So we will be like sitting in the court and in the public gallery, of course, and we see how he does his matters. So it's very interesting to see. So we can always do all these things to enhance our skill, not all from the books. It's so if you are a timid person, it's okay. You still can pursue a law, and you will definitely find a area which will suit your personality or your character. There is no any like specific things that you must have it or you shouldn't have it to be a lawyer.
Just adding on, Ms. Visha,
Uh-huh.
now on the language proficiency. Now,
Okay,
it is equally important to be proficient in Bahasa Malaysia. Can you touch
correct.
on that a bit?
I mean, we are in Malaysia. So if you see lower courts, magistrate court and sessions court, the usage of BM is more rampant, right? Only in high court, court of appeal and federal court, we can see more. I mean, that one also depends on the council. So we use English. So if you and at the beginning years of our practice usually will be more in magistrate court, or even not only for court, even when you are dealing with government department, sometimes we have to go to the land office, the pejabat harta pusaka kecil, all these government agency. Definitely you have to master your Malay. You can't run away from that. So I mean, if those from private schools, you might have some problem, but I think it's again depends on the individual. You have to take the initiative to learn or to master at least a very basic bahasa, which will help you because not only to court and the government agencies and even your clients, we will have like some Chinese old man or Indian uncle or Malay pachi who will come to your firm. You can't expect to speak in English with them. You have to use a layman bahasa to them, to at least then only they will understand. No point you being a great lawyer, but you can't communicate with our clients, right? So that's where the language comes. It's not about bahasa yang berbunga-bunga or canggih, but clear, simple language. I mean, I don't see a need to have like a bombastic words. End of the day, your client don't understand or they don't get what are you trying to say. So you have to like be a very simple, but very clear, not like puta beleh kind of ayat. So I think that's more than enough, which is I think is achievable if you put in more effort.
Yes, yes, definitely that's achievable. Now, moving on, I mean, students are often presented with a bit of myth, before they may look at this famous English series, They would look at the lawyers dressing up in nice suits, earning good salary. But what are the actual challenges in the legal profession?
Okay.
What are the how one should prepare oneself for the challenges? I think there's
Okay.
quite a number of
Yeah.
challenges.
Okay. It's a very big challenge actually. They think lawyers is very glamour, right? With their black and white coat suit, but it's not that glamour. I mean, it's nice. It's nice. I will never deny being a lawyer is nice, but it's not world of glamour. I mean, if you lucky enough to be in a big firm where you can earn a very good salary, with a very good bonus, then I would say you are lucky. But not everyone will have that opportunity, right? So you will, if you are a sole prop firm's owner. You are the lawyer, you are the clerk, you are the runner, and you can't expect to wear your black and white with your blazer doing the runner job, you know. So it's not always like that. So unless you happen to work in a legal firm, then you have a PA to photostate, PA to take your notes. So I mean, it's a sometimes it's not a reality what you see in movie. uh, and when you come to a monetary for a legal practice, it also varies because and especially now with this COVID pandemic and all these things, even legal firms are suffering. The amount of works that we get have reduced, especially conveyancing matters have reduced. So we have certain limitation on that, but you will be surprised. Even a sole prop firm, if you base in a small firm, you can do very well also, because all that people in that area might come to your firm. So it's not necessarily always need to be in a glamour looking kind of legal firm, you know. It's again and again, I what I want to say is it depends on you. You can't I mean, of course, sometimes it's your talent and your luck, and it's the what kind of connection you have to, which will help you to build up the business. And that's where you can see the I mean the bigger financial contribution, right? So if you think, oh, being a lawyer straight away, I want a starting salary of 5,000, 6,000. I think it doesn't work like that, at least in Malaysia, as I know, but I'm not very sure about other countries. It doesn't work that way. So it will take some time. I think it's same to every field. So you have to come in, you have to experience, then you have to explore. You can't be, you know, you cannot just live in a, try to be in a fantasy world or say, hey, how come that fella is earning this much, I'm only this much? You don't do a comparison, because you wouldn't know what that person has to go through for him to earn that much, right? So again, it's not a glamorous world, especially if you are litigant, and you know, you have like few cases continuously for hearing, and if you have a DPP who doesn't agree to postpone the cases, then you have to get prepared for all your cases. uh, so it's a balance of everything. Sometimes you do get like glamorous lifestyle where you happen to have like very uh, like a rich client who call you to his office, then you feel like, oh, he has sent me a car to like a chauffeur driver and all these things. So that, I mean, do you do get some perks along your practice, but maybe not always. Not always. You might be able to see that in certain point of your practice, but that is not the whole thing about legal practice. It's everything. Sometimes you have to really go down to the roots to reach your client. They will be like orang asli matters. Take for example, if you are doing a orang asli matters, you have to go to their place. You can't expect them to come because lack of infrastructure and or other hurdles, they might not be able. But you, as their lawyer, you have to approach them. So it's not always in a like a penthouse looking office, that sort of thing. So it's interesting that you will see the variety of character and experience when you're in legal practice.
Okay. Now, talking about legal practice itself,
Mhm.
uh, how is it really stressful, the working environment?
Hmm.
Maybe in a firm, or maybe you're a sole proprietor. Is it really stressful, or how is the there are issues on chasing deadlines, difficult clients. So how do one manage this? How do one prepare for this?
Oh, okay. I mean, when we say these challenges in terms of deadlines and difficult clients, I think this not only for lawyers. I mean, any job nature, you all have a deadline. Your boss will say, "I want today, today, today. Everything is today." So it's how you manage your workload, right? So and the same, even I mean, I understand sometimes the junior lawyers, they will have a bit they will feel reluctant to tell their boss or their senior lawyer, say, I have this much of thing. So it's very important you have a team, a good team. Try to build a good team, because it's impossible to do everything on your own. That's where you need to build up a good team. It's either within the firm or even with other firms. So with that, it will somehow will ease your burden. No, at least you already have a stress time in the office. At least after office hour, you have someone to rely on, to go and to open up, say, or maybe discuss about your matters. Say, oh, I'm going to do this. Can you what do you think? So at least when we speak, we feel our burden. We don't need to torture ourselves. I mean, to do a certain. I mean, I understand you are doing for your client, but you also have to take care of yourself. If you fall sick, you can't do your client's matter though. So it's very important to have that sort of thing, and try to approach your bosses or your senior lawyers. I mean, of course, they will have their deadline, because we have to meet the deadline, because it's all end of the day, it's all involved finance. If we don't give our work to the bank, they won't pay our bill. If they don't pay our bill, and then it will affect our salary and other payments, right? So that's how it works. It's all interrelated, but again, you have to find a way to do it. So that's why I said only you will know what sort of environment will suit you. If you think that firm, like you have to go into the work at 7 o'clock in the morning and you only leave at 11 o'clock. If it's for 1 day, 2 day in a week, that's fine. But it's gonna be like 5 days in a row. You have to do that, and if you are a like young graduate, it's okay. But how, imagine if you are a married person with the children at home, you can't cope for a long time in that sort of firm, right? Only you will know. So that's very important to find the balance in what you are doing. If your work is taking up too much on you, causing you to feeling very lethargic, eventually it's going to affect your health, and no firm going to be taking responsibility for that. So only we have to take the responsibility for ourselves, and at the same time we give back our best to the firm where we are attached to. So we have to consider many things to, so that if you don't find all this balance, end of the day you won't enjoy what you're doing, and then you feel like, oh, why did I become a lawyer? I should have explore other field, but we never know the other field also will have the same thing. It's the same cycle, you see. So whichever uh, career you have choose, you have to find the balance, so that you will enjoy what you're doing. Personally, I feel that. I think that's why I have survived 20 years now.
You found your soul in it.
Correct.
Now, if let's say at the end of one's 4 year study, or upon completion of pupillage,
Mhm.
a student or graduate, or even a young lawyer who has practiced for a couple of years, he's looking into an alternative career. So, what are the
Yep.
alternative career options
Okay.
available?
Okay. Again, I think I've mentioned that earlier. I mean, from my experience, what I always tell uh, any yeah, younger generation who wants to be to take. I mean, I'm not saying who wants to be a lawyer. What I mean is who wants to take up law degree. Okay. So whether you completed your pupillage or not, that's another thing. But you have taken a law degree. It's a very wide and versatile degree where you can do anything. First, of course, we become a lawyer or you enter a public service. And from my personal experience, I have seen my coursemate, she's a writer now. And one of my coursemate, she even switched her career to become a child psychologist after a law degree. And she, in fact, she was practicing for a few years and she switched to a child psychologist now. So there are, if you know, if you see you can go and Google what you can do with a law degree. I think you can do everything to become a chef, to become a news reader, you become a whatever things available because it's a very unlike medical or engineering, which is more specialized. You know, you already learn the skill there. You know, a law degree, of course, we learn certain skills, but we can always use that feel the skill and the knowledge in every other single thing, because that's what I say, law is like your daily life. Every day you need law, so every single thing you can apply what you have studied or what you have learned the skill. So there is no limit that you can only do this if you take up a law degree. I think there's no such thing. It's very open. So it's again depends on the student to see what they want. There is no, I mean, I personally believe there is no limit that, oh, since you do law, you can only do or you can only become a lawyer, you can only become a DPP. No, I don't think so. It's very open. So you have a very big wide world in front of you to choose according to your liking, right?
All right. Now, coming back to, I think we have covered most of the important questions that have been put forth.
Mhm.
But there's one, we have also asked students or the participants to comment on what are the expectations from out of this session. Quite a number of them actually wanted to know whether there's a demand for lawyers in Malaysia, and also whether um, the prospects of the legal industry in 21st century compared with the advancement of artificial intelligence, the disruptive technology, and so on. So, what are the uh, demand? Is there a demand for a lawyer
I
in
mean,
Malaysia?
if you see the demand, I mean, I still telling myself I have to believe there is a demand. Okay, okay, because you know, it's like as we have mentioned the various area of law, right? So every single thing you need a lawyer. I mean, of course, there are other branch of people who have take over the lawyer's job actually. Like if you see this tenancy agreement and all these things, those days they will definitely come to a legal firm. Nowadays, no. Even a real estate agent, they have a standard template where they just print out, they let the tenant and the landlord to sign the tenancy agreement, and the convincing matter will be settled. But if there is any problem arises in that tenancy agreement, they still have to come to a lawyer, right? Because only us, we take up that matter, we look into the legal problem in the document. So you can't like scrap off the entire thing without a lawyer. But of course, with this, our competition increases because more firms, you have to share the same cake. No, last time you probably you are having like half of the cake, but now You got to share with many people. So that's where you have to diversify your area of practice. You have to, or otherwise you try to find the niche. You have to like really, or only not many people in this field. I want to go explore that particular field, and probably there are demand for that, because if you see in Malaysia, I think like those maritime law, the firms that deal with maritime law or aviation for that matter is very limited. So maybe it's very technical. Not many venture into that sort of area practice. So, but to say no prospect, I wouldn't agree to that. But maybe the competition increases, and more challenging in terms, no, those our senior lawyers, they can comfortably earn. Um, I mean, if you are based in one place, you can comfortably earn. But I think even the mid-range age lawyers like me and the juniors, they have that challenge, in terms of you have to share the same cake with more people now. So that's where sometimes we have to have some collaboration. Maybe you collaborate with some overseas partners. No, we look into some legal aspect where you do it here and they collaborate there. I think nowadays with all these uh, technologies, you don't really do be present in that country, but you have a partnership or collaboration. So it's all about how you're gonna. This is more on enterprise entrepreneurship in a legal practice, which our university don't teach us, but you will only learn how important is that when you start to practice, and moreover when you have your own firm. If you are makan gaji, then your boss will have that headache. But if you are running your own firm, you have to have the legal practice skill plus your entrepreneurship skill. If you don't have an entrepreneurship skill, it's very difficult to sustain your legal practice, right?
Yes, yes.
Mm.
Yeah. Now,
So that's,
yes,
yeah, Kale.
yes, Miss Fisher, I think we can take questions from now. There are
Uh-huh.
a number of questions on the chat box, if you can see. So I'll address the first one, which is
Okay.
by Kausalya.
Mm-hmm.
Kausalya asked whether would you suggest to complete pupillage before opting for other pathways, such as AGC or in-house. So
Mm-hmm.
what would your advice would be?
Okay. Actually, this is one of the very common question that many law graduates will have upon complete their graduation. Am I going to do my chain doing, or shall I go and like, explore other field, like going into a civil service or joining any corporate before I do a pupillage? I mean, if you ask me personally, if can, try to complete your pupillage of the 9 months, and
I
then
would second to that motion.
uh, and and then why are we saying this? Because you just fresh from the oven after graduation, you have all the energy, your age, your energy level is very high at that point, so you can quickly wrap it up, that 9 months, and you'll be called to the bar. Once you're called to the bar, it remains there. You see, there's no like expiry. I mean, of course you have to renew your PC every year, but
Yeah.
once you're called to the bar, and after that, you don't need to, you can go back to a private, you enter a corporate. Let's say you join a bank as a legal advisor, but you already been called to the bar. So let's say after 10 years in a bank, as a legal advisor or legal executive or even a legal manager, you want to come out to practice. So since you already completed your pupillage and you had been admitted to the High Court of Malaya, what you have to do, you just have to find a firm, or you open your own firm. Then of course that one, you go to the bar council to apply for your PC, practicing certificate.
Certificate.
But if you don't do that pupillage, then you have to, like, after the 10 years of your work in the bank, you have to come out and you have to look for a firm who to do your pupillage. I personally find it's a bit, I mean, not to say cannot, but I would prefer to complete my pupillage right after my graduation and explore whatever other career opportunity that you want to give a try.
That is very true, Miss
Mm.
Miss Fisher. I've experienced that. personally. I think it's beneficial.
Yeah.
Now, moving on to Miss Pooja's question. Hi, madam. Can I know more on medical negligence,
Mhm.
malpractice, any additional course we need to take, requirement to become a medical lawyer?
Mm. Okay, medical negligence is one of the very like more specialized thing. I mean, you don't need to like a further degree or masters to master that. But if you can get a right firm where they're already dealing with all these medical negligence, and then from there you take it up. You take it up because it's when you do more cases of medical negligence, because each case varies. So as you do various cases, that's where you learn what this area, or I need to focus on this. So there is no like any special certificate or anything that you need to add on to your LLB in order for you to pursue the medical negligence. It's just that you have to find the right firm or the right contact or the right cases that comes to you for you to take up that field. And of course, as you do the litigation process, you will learn. So the basic LLB after our pupillage is already more than enough. I think it's your daily experience and skill will enhance you in that field that you have choose.
And just to add on, I think Bar Council and the state bars or the Malaysian bar do organize uh, talks,
Yes,
series,
yes, right.
seminars, workshops on certain niche
Yeah.
areas that students can join or
Correct.
practitioners
Okay, I
can
think
join.
I need to add on that. If like for those junior lawyers, I think they call it as CPD points.
CPD, correct?
CPD points, which I think is compulsory for junior lawyers to
Yes.
to take up some of the or to attend courses organized by bar council. Some you need to pay very minimal fees. Some is free courses to in order to accumulate the CPD point. So this kind of medical negligence, not only bar council, there are some other also organize this sort of thing. So you can always join this sort of seminars, like 2 days, 3 days seminar to enhance our knowledge and to exchange our experience with those participants who attend those courses, seminars, right? So junior lawyers, you have to. I mean, CPD points. That I think that's why they make it compulsory.
Yes, that.
Yeah, so that we will. Uh, so we have to attend all those seminars and talks to get more experience and skills and knowledge.
Okay, there are quite a number of questions on part-time degree, and
Okay.
also there are questions on those who have actually completed their degree,
Mhm.
but they wish degree in another field or diploma in another field,
Okay.
or currently pursuing an HR degree, but they would want to venture into law.
All
So
right.
a question here from Ram Priya. I would like to know if we can pursue a part-time degree for law if I have a diploma that is not related with it. So I think there are few more questions on similar issue. So
Okay.
maybe you can address them together.
Okay. I think this one, I mean, as earlier Kale has mentioned, our focus was for the public universities. That is more like the direct for the students after the school. If like this kind of adult who want to pursue legal career after in a different field, of course, there are many private colleges or earlier we have mentioned Bachelor of Jurisprudence in MU, where you can do your degree, but definitely you have to choose the pathway of doing CLP, or you go to UK to do your bar exam before then only you can come back to Malaysia to practice. I just want to share. I think maybe when I was in second year or third year, I remember this one medical doctor. He was like 60 plus. He's a medical doctor, but he was doing Bachelor of Jurisprudence. So
Mhm.
he wanted to be a lawyer at that age. So there is no age limit, or even you are from an entirely different field, you can always come to a legal field and legal practice. But it's just that your pathway will be a bit different compared to those direct pathway of a student who right after STPM or SPM. I think that's the only difference.
And we do have, I think, among our participants today, we have a doctorate in engineering He's
You
currently
see?
pursuing Bachelor of Jurisprudence in University Malaya.
Oh,
He's currently
okay.
pursuing. So I do know him personally, Mr. Patrick.
Uh-huh.
So
Mhm.
I mean, we do have similar examples, and
I
I
mean,
do come
yeah,
across policemen, retired policemen,
correct.
taking up B juries and becoming lawyer, and
Yeah, many,
So
many, especially those in the police, many of them. In fact, my current boss also is my current boss and my previous boss also. They are all ex-police. Where halfway through their police course, they left. They went to further study. Then they come. They practicing law. So it's a. I mean, there is no like age limit. I mean, if you want to go to the government sector, I think there is because we have some hard umur to enter a civil service, right?
yes.
But if you want to be in a private practice, so far I don't think so. We have any limitation to that. As long as you have your LLB and you have your CLP, if you are from non-public universities, and you do your pupillage, you can be admitted as a advocate and solicitor.
So yeah, in response to Rampriya, your diploma is not an issue. You have
Yes.
to check with B juries, University Malaya, whether they would accept. If you are looking to University Malaya or other institutions, you have to check with them whether they do accept your diploma. Now, moving on to Siva Nandini, where is a good place, or how to start a career related to public policies as a law graduate?
Public policy. Okay. Uh, when you say public policies, I think if
I think you
you
have also
see.
touched on PTDs before this.
Correct. Yeah, I think when you say public policy, what comes to my mind is it's very much related to those PTD services. But I mean in civil sector under SPA also they have variety of the category
Positions.
pekerjaan, right?
Yes.
But most of our public policy matters, I understand it's by this category of PTDs. So if you are interested in that, you have to pursue your matter. I mean your career towards that line. We have, I think, even in our graduate, we have quite number of PTDs. So it's another area I think our graduates or undergraduates should look into if they are interested to pursue public policy matters.
Yes, and alternative they can venture into these research institutions, or research bodies like Kazana Research
Hmm.
Institute, or even Darul Ehsan, Invoke, and so on, if they're
Yeah,
really interested in public policy. Now,
correct.
moving on to Krishnan AK, more interested on IR matter. Currently, I am IT guy, but have experiences handling IR matters, statement of case, joinder, rejoinder done from myself. UKM requested me to continue masters. Any advice from you, madam?
Okay, when you say IR, I mean, from what I see, uh, I mean, I'm yet to do my masters, but when if you are doing a litigation matter, even for that IR, it's not matter of whether you must have your masters or PhD. It's your exposure of doing the matter in court, right? You with your degree. I mean, but like just now he was saying he's a IT, but of course, if you want to come into a legal practice, you have to pursue the LLB and CLP or bar exam to be enrolled as an advocate and solicitor. But the necessity to have masters to upgrade yourself, it's entirely depends on them. It's not a must, but if it helps, why not, right?
Correct.
But the most important is the even with your degree or LLB, the more cases you do, that's where you will get the real I mean the real journey of it. Because sometimes what we learn in university, even for masters, is more of the theoretical knowledge. But when you are presenting your case in front of the pegawai bureau or the IR or whichever whatever court, it's more of that subject matter of that particular case. So the your way of presenting varies from one case to one case. So it's all with your experience of the litigation in court or in a different courts or maybe in a different state, that's that's where you can uh, I mean, give a gi- present your case better. I would say it's not that oh you I must do masters only I can do my cases better. It doesn't work that way. But definitely the masters will enhance your knowledge, but that is not like a prerequisite thing to ensure to pursue your litigation journey,
Yes,
unless they're going to be in a teaching. If you're going to be a lecturer, you're going to
academician.
academician, I mean, of course you have to go towards that. Your incline of journey will be towards that. You have to your masters, your phd, right? But so far, uh, when you come for litigation, for me I feel the more cases you do, the more courts you go, you will get better. And the exposure that you get, you will it will make a difference in the way how you're going to present your cases.
Okay. Now, moving on to Shanmuga Priya, as a local degree student, can we practice law in overseas? If yes, then what would be your advice to enable ourselves to practice overseas?
Okay, when you say with the whether we can practice in overseas, we have our juniors who practice in Hong Kong. Even I have some seniors who are in Brunei,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and Singapore. I mean, maybe to practice law in that country, you have to check what is their latest thing or the latest rules that you have to follow, because I think not all the degrees are like you will have like what I
Recognized.
say recognized. Maybe like MU, I think you can easily go to Singapore and Hong Kong where they will accept. But like other universities, I mean, it's not that they are not recognizing you as a legal or law graduate, but the requirement to practice law in that particular country, maybe you have to take up some additional exam or to be
Exams. Correct.
called to that country's bar. But
Correct. Correct.
that is if you're going to practice as a lawyer in that the country. But if you're not going to practice as their lawyer, but just being in a legal like a legal advisor or legal consultant, as long as you have qualified legal law graduate and you can adapt or you can have a good understanding of what their requirement, I don't see a problem why you can't explore trying to find a job opportunity in overseas, right? If you really feel going to overseas is your passion, I think you must try to tap all these opportunities in UN agencies. You can get to posted in various countries around the world, which will be
Oh,
very interesting, I suppose.
yes. Now, moving on to Praveen, Devan, and Jaya Kugan. I think their questions are a bit related because both of them are doing degree from different backgrounds. So I think I can address it together in the sense of you do need a degree in law to
Correct.
become a lawyer. So there's a common misconception based on whatever responses that participants have given me earlier. There's a
Mhm.
misconception that one can take a degree in anything and then continue masters in law and then get called to the bar. It
Mm.
doesn't work in that way. We do
Correct.
need bachelor
The
degree.
LLB is like the must have qualification. You know, we have this legal profession qualifying board Malaysia, the lembaga. I think I can't recall
Lembaga
what
Kelayakan
uh,
Profession Undang-Undang.
Kelayakan profession. If you go there, you can Google it. They have like a list of the universities or the qualification that you need to be to be to be a qualified legal person to practice law in Malaysia. If you if you have done a legal your law course in some overseas university which is not within that board's list, I think you can't even pursue your CLP or do your bar exam and to be called to the bar. So that's why it's very important to choose the right university, to choose the right,
Recognized universities.
the recognize, the word recognize, correct. And to know you, then only you can, because if you have made a mistake there, it's going to cost you a lot. because with that you can't enroll yourself as an advocate and solicitor. So you will have a law degree, but too bad you can't practice law.
Yes, so I would advise students to Google LPQB, Lembaga Kelayakan Professional Undang-Undang. They have list of recognized courses, recognized universities that you can go through and choose. Okay. Now, moving on to Danish Deva. Hello, Madam Sir. I'll be finishing my SPM in 1 month's time. Is A levels the right choice if I want to pursue my career at overseas after pre-university program? Now, we are not in focus on pursuing education overseas in this session because we are focusing on the local public universities. Maybe you can quickly answer Tanish here.
I mean, as uh, as we know, the cost involved when you choose a private university path, it really makes it's really huge difference with a public university and private university. So I mean, I really wish more students give STPM a chance, at least a try. No, unlike 20 years ago, the system of STPM also have changed a lot, I
Correct.
suppose. So which
It's
I
semester based now.
yeah, so which I feel like those days we have to, like, after 1.5 years or almost 2 years, then you just sit for one exam for that 2 years of syllabus. But now it's more of a semester. I mean, I'm not saying SCPM is getting easier, but at least the scope for each semester is smaller compared to the whole entire 2 years, and you sit for one exam. And I think now you even have the opportunity where you can upgrade your grades. Unlike my
Correct.
time, we don't have all that. Only one exam after
Yes,
during our upper six. Either you get A or B or what
that's the
succeed
end
or
of the
whatever.
day.
You don't get unless I have to repeat my STPM. So I mean, no harm if your parents can afford a private university or what, you can. But but since you can always save that money for your better use in future, give a try to STPM, because whether you are from Harvard or you're from a local U, when you come to Malaysia to practice law, everybody start from the same platform. So sometimes if you have the opportunity, better try to make use of it. It's for, I mean, why not? We reduce the cost, and end of the day, you're gonna get the same qualification. It's not like something that is better than this. I don't think so. That is all the same. So if you have the opportunity to pursue STPM after your SPM, why don't you give a try before you think of A level, or even for that IB matters, unless there is really that something that stops you, or you have no opportunity to sit for STPM, you have no choice, that you have to move on to private sector. That's a different scenario. But if you have the opportunity, why don't take up STPM and give a try? And what is the rush that if I don't, or why I'm wasting 3 semesters to do my STPM? If I don't do well, then I cannot, if I don't get a placing in a public U for law faculty, then I have to go back to a private again. So they some say, oh, that's waste of time. I felt straight away I go to private. I sometimes I don't understand the youngsters' idea of what is big deal. So you can take take time to do it. If you cannot this, then you opt for something other options. At least try for the STPM or matriculation, and I mean give a try. And who knows, if you are lucky enough to get into MU or UKM, with which is the cost is so minimal compared to when you pursue your A level.
Okay, Miss Visha. Now, Uma Shankari, I think we have answered. Is there a possibility for me to do law degree? Yes, you can continue externally. Okay, now moving on to Dave. Uh, if what would be the pathway be like if I were to do master's overseas right after finishing my degree in law in Malaysia? So I think we have also covered, if you want to practice in Malaysia, you need a degree in law in Malaysia. But if you want to pursue your pathway or further education overseas, you can do that. I think there's no problem with that. There's no limitations to that. uh, Tanish, also, there's no limitation for students to continue their studies in overseas. No problem. I have so many of my friends on seniors who have actually furthered their studies in UK upon completion of degree from University Malaya. So there's no issue for you to do so. It is recognized. Banusha is a law student, Ms. Isha. Hi, madam. In your opinion, which is a better way to build our specialization or to be a subject matter expert, through postgraduate studies or through practice experience?
I mean, as I mentioned earlier, if you are in practice, definitely is by practice. When you attach with a legal firm, the daily work that you are doing will make you. I mean, no doubt. Of course, we pursue masters or PhD is to learn more. I mean, to enhance our knowledge. But if you are talking about the skill in court, how you're going to tackle certain matter, or how to tackle a certain clients when they come to you. Unfortunately, they don't teach this when we are doing our, or maybe they are teaching, but maybe not directly. So it's a when you are doing on more cases, more files, or more of meeting with clients, that's where actually you enhance your skill to be a litigant, or of course you are free to always upgrade yourself by pursuing further masters or even a PhD degree. But definitely nothing beats like your daily work of doing your that file, and it can be the same subject matter but different client, different scenario, and your way to approach that that matter also very same. You can't apply, oh, this case I do this way, for this case also I must do it. It's a simple matter. It's all depends the facts that the client is sharing with you. So the more files you do, you will get a more better understanding of what you want, and that's where you will know what do you really like, what field do you really want to specialize at. You could have think, oh, I want to do HR matters, so I go and further my masters in HR. But after doing HR, you might find, no, this is not what I want. Unlike if you have done many IR matters, which will deal with this human resources, and you have to daily going to court, definitely that's what your passion or your skill are. So you will know where you need to specialize. It's not. Uh, I mean, again, what I want to say is that the daily work that you do will help you to identify your expertise and your skill.
You need to get your hands dirty.
Yes, correct.
Now, moving on to Amanda. Amanda, we have answered your question. She's doing degree in tech management, planning to do degree in law, part-time. Is it possible? Yes, it is possible. Better to do in
Yeah,
government or private. We would promote government university, and we would promote Bachelor of Juris in University Malaya. That is part-time. Okay. The fees is way lesser than any private institution, and it's also very much reputable
definitely.
bachelor's program. A $1 million question here, Madam Kukuneswari. Hi, Madam. How much the salary for lawyers after 5 years? Is the salary based on cases we handle?
And the firm that you are attached to and
Yeah.
your boss.
So you
Okay.
can.
Actually, when you come to the salary scale, uh, not that lucrative. Okay, but after 5 years, it depends where, because you can't compare a legal. I mean, unlike civil service, if you are a DPP
It's
in
fixed.
Kluang or DPP in Penang, you still get the same salary,
Correct.
right? And if even DPP in KL will get the same salary, but unlike lawyers in a private practice, if you are a lawyer in Kluang with 5 years of experience, probably you are not earning the same amount what is the 5 years lawyers in KL earning, or maybe in Sabah Sarawak they are earning. So it's totally uh, actually sometimes it's not related what is your years of practice. It's more of what sort of firm you are attached to, or what sort of cases you are doing.
Correct.
If you are a sole prop, nowadays many youngsters after 1 2 years of practice they open up their own firm, and don't be surprised, there are some of them are doing really well because they get a bulk of cases. Probably they are lawyers for some developer, you know, they can easily beat 20 years lawyers like me. So it's again, there is no like a standard kind of salary scale. Okay, after 1 year I must get this, after 2 years I must get that. No, it's, I think I don't see that. It's again where you are attached to, what sort of matters you are doing. And even if you are not a proprietor of legal firm, if you are a partner, and again it depends what sort of matters you're bringing into the firm. If your contribution is allowed, you will get a better perks there by your managing partner will give you a better perks there. Maybe salary wise is not much, but end of the year you will have a better profit sharing. So it's that is the enterprising areas of legal practice. It's not like, oh, I be a lawyer, after 5 years I'll be earning 15,000, 20,000. Not, it doesn't work that way.
Okay. All right. Now moving on to, I think, Jagan's question. I'm pursuing my second year degree in a private college. Is it possible to continue my masters in local universities in future after done my LLB? Yes, Jagan, that it's possible to do your masters. There's no questions about it. You can Google it up. You can go to the particular university's website. A lot of informations are there. Moving on to Joel. Joel, you are currently pursuing foundations in law in private college. Upon completion, can I apply to do law degree in government university, say UM?
Mm.
Unfortunately, you can't, Joel. UCAM accepts A levels, but not private university or private colleges foundation program. So unfortunately, you can't. So that is the answer for you. Kirtana Pillai. Is that we can study law and three other bidang at the same time? Um,
What means three other bidang?
I am not I'm not sure. Maybe Kirtan, maybe you can clarify your questions. We'll move on. Shobana, what are the career positions of paralegals in current legal fraternity? What alternative way they have rather than practicing? So yes, Miss Shobana. Miss Isha?
Okay. Paralegal. What I understand paralegal is,
I
I
think
mean,
because her condition is because University of London external degree program with third class honors, resulting in
so
she
whereby
can't take
you
the
can't do
CLP.
your probably the
CLP.
CLP, right, because of
Correct,
their
correct.
requirement. Okay. I mean, again, you not necessarily just to be a paralegal, but you can always pursue this private corporate where you can always be like a legal executive. I think they start as a legal exec, I suppose. Then after that, you will become a legal manager because um, if you're based in KL, I would say you stand a more bigger opportunity to explore because you we have all these GLCs and all these things. They don't really just take those lawyers who call to the bar, but if you, even with your law degree, but if you have show your skill and your knowledge or your understanding of what that particular company looks through, please feel free to look to try out. No, you not necessarily you just have to limit yourself to be a paralegal, right? Because you already qualified as a qualified legal person. It's just that probably you cannot pursue your CLP because of their requirement, but that shouldn't stop you from explore other areas where you can always venture. There are so many, you know, just to name it few, you can go like HR, even like hotel chains, you they need a legal, every GLC they'll have a legal department. So you can always try to pursue your career towards that pathway. You maybe you will start as a legal executive, but after years of working experience, and I must tell you, it's quite a lucrative. I mean, of course, the responsibility and workload you can't deny when you attach with GLC and all those big company, but the remuneration part also is quite lucrative. So please feel free to give a try.
Okay, Kirtana Pillai, which university is specialized for law? We have a couple of universities, local universities, which would, I mean, they are offering law program, namely University Malaya, UKM, UUM, UNISA, UIA, and UITM for Bumiputra students. So those are the universities which offer law program, local public universities. Okay. Moving on to Kavi Angel. Hi, madam. I'm an SPM student. Just want to ask that whether the certs I obtain in high schools do matter or not to apply UM. Is there any specific subjects that I should score higher to make myself eligible for law school? Okay. I mean, quick answer to Kavi Angel. Um, you'll be going through interview sessions and so on. So during that interview sessions, they might look at your certifications, your achievements, and so on. So is there any specific subjects that you should score higher? uh, there aren't any specific subjects, but for University Malaya and for UKM for that matter, you need to get the minimum requirement in Bahasa and also in Bahasa Malaysia and also in English. So those are the two important subjects that do um, emphasize. So you can check the requirements in Panduan UPU. You can Google that and you can check the requirements there. It is there. So if you don't understand, you can come back to us later on. Okay. Now moving on to Kishan Rao. Can I pursue a law degree without law related diploma, such as diploma in English? I've heard some of my seniors being able to do so. Now, Kishan, just to give an example, you can theoretically you can, okay, but again, there are very few places available for diploma students. Okay, the competition is higher when you have to face off with SDPM matriculation, Asasi levers. So there are chances. It's not outright no, but you have to have good CGPA. You have to have good MUET. MUET is very important. You need to get band 4 and above and so on. So that those are the requirements. Okay. Lalita, if one does LLB with the external degree with University of London, can one do their bar? And how much is the cost of doing the bar, Miss Usha?
I'm afraid I don't have the exact answer for this because I have no experience of doing that bar exam. But
Okay. Mm.
I suppose it will quite cost you quite a lot, taking into consideration the exchange rate
Yes,
times times 5, is it?
it's pound sterling.
So yeah, so you have to really consider the financial part of it if you intend to do your bar after your LLB.
Yeah.
But if that's the
Alternatively,
only
CLP is there,
alternatively CLP, which is I believe is cheaper compared to doing your bar in exams in UK.
but also has
So, but
equal challenges.
unfortunately, but unfortunately, I really don't know what is the exact amount that you need to reserve for that.
Okay. Kishan, what is the pathway to become a law lecturer or professor?
Okay. I think that is when we say the academic, you choose your pathway to be academician, right? So from my understanding, if you most of you will start probably as a tutor. I think even for be a tutor nowadays, they want you to have at least a master's, not like those days you can be a tutor with your first degree. So the starting point is definitely at least you must have a master, and eventually if you want to pursue further to become a professor and all these things, definitely you have to upgrade yourself to a PhD level, and whether I mean it's a long journey, but of course you can happily omit this CLP and the bar exams, but your focus will be more on the academic of the uh, law. I mean the legal studies.
Okay, we can't answer to Yoga's question, which private college or university is best for LLB. I would leave that for you to decide. Also, Jaya, we don't want to go to that discussion on whether this or that. Okay, that is
Yeah.
for you to venture, research, and so on. Moving on to Kirsch, I'm currently doing a degree in communication. Is it possible to continue masters in law? What are the things I should do now? Now, Kirsch, to do masters in law, you need a bachelor of laws. Okay, but if you are looking to pursue master of criminal justice for that matter, or master of legal studies, then you can do so. Okay, but masters of law, masters in law, you need a bachelor in law. Okay, now moving on to Tamilavale, law is the field that is expected to be replaced by AI very soon compared to other fields. What's your opinion on this matter? I think you have touched a bit on this earlier, Ms. Fisher. Maybe you can comment a bit.
Okay, because
Can robots replace
I'm yet
lawyers?
I'm yet to see how far robot can. I mean, probably my experience in practicing in a small town. I mean, if you are talking about a certain level of law, probably I mean, of course, we can't deny we have to and we are moving move forward with school to entirely scrap human being from this legal practice and let the AI or to do the thing. I'm not a fan of it. And especially certain field of area of law, like family law. No, you can't.
You do need human touch there,
Correct.
the
You
empathy,
the robot will never understand
the
when a mother,
complexity of human life.
when you're fighting for a custody matter or maintenance or domestic violence. I just cannot see how the robots will come into that. uh, no, maybe I just not open up to that area yet. But I always feel, even during this pandemic, we as lawyers, we find it very like our hands are all tied with doing this Zoom hearing. No, it's nothing like going to the court and seeing the judge or the magistrate sitting on the bench. Seeing the juru bahasa, it's nothing like that. It's totally different feeling of practice. This sometimes hearing through the Zoom and all these things, which probably the beginning of how we technology comes into legal practice. We still prefer the human touch of it.
Yes, yes, I would agree to that. I mean, technologies are there to assist us.
Assist
They are,
us, correct.
they are making our jobs easier. It's
Easier. The
easier to find
communication,
cases. It's easier
communication,
to
all
do
this.
research and so on. But
Correct,
still, we do need human brain
correct.
behind the scene. Now,
Yeah.
Pooja, sorry, Saravanan's question. Um, two questions there. Uh, One, can a lawyer be a member of two professional bodies? I think this is for you to comment, Ms. Isha. Number two, can a
Professional
practicing,
bodies, when he said
I
like
think
is it
because the second question has can a practicing engineer be a freelance or pro bono lawyer? Is there any restrictions? This is the
okay?
engineer that I was talking to you about
Uh,
earlier.
okay, I mean, we are I know that we have practicing lawyers who are also lecturing, uh, but I've yet to see practicing lawyers who are also. I mean, we are free to do certain businesses, but when come to like professional bodies, I'm afraid I don't have the clear answer to yes, to say yes, because I got to really look up on that, whether you at the same time you're attached to another professional body, because we our for lawyers, our professional bodies is a bar council. But at the same time, whether you can attach to another professional bodies, I got to check on that. Actually, I'm so sorry.
Okay, Mr. Sarana, I mean, I do know him personally, so we can get back to him later on a personal level. Now, moving on to Pooja, madam, I'm currently pursuing my law degree at BAC. My law program is specialized under UOL 3 plus O. I'm taking additional subjects, European law. I have two choices, which is CLP and also continue with bar. But can I continue my CLP in government institutions? Is that possible? I don't think so. CLP is offered in any government institutions at the moment.
Right. I think they have their own body who regulate all the CLP. It's not like under a public university, right? So, you there is a separate body who regulate all the CLP qualification and exams. So it's not under any of the public universities. Maybe I mean I'm afraid what she meant is like some people they go for like extra classes, or
Mhm.
what. I don't know whether that's what she meant. But from my understanding, CLP is it's on its own by itself.
Correct. Okay, Joel, as mentioned, when doing law degree at UM, or you can be exempted from having to do CLP. Why is that? Is CLP included in the fourth year? Uh, to put it simply, yes, in a way, because it's a normal law degree would be 3 years, but if you're exempted, it would be 4 years together with the professional year. So that is the reason for the distinction there. Kirti Supaya, I was just wondering, if I do law degree in UNISA, do I need to do CLP? Because I heard that bar do not require law. No, 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 Kirti, UNISA, uh, they have recognized UNISA. If I'm not mistaken, I stand to be corrected, from 2015 onwards, they have recognized UNISA. So there's no problem in going and furthering your study in UNISA. Okay.
Yeah, I think as
Uh,
Kale mentioned earlier, they should check with that legal profession qualifying board. I think all the details are there, right?
yes,
Hmm.
yes, ma'am. I am checking at the moment, and it says that
It's
they have been
2015,
recognized from 18 October 2015.
correct?
So
2015. This is
correct.
the
So
University Sultan Zainal Abidin, right?
correct.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
they
from
can
2015 they are exempted from CLP.
Darshita, hello madam, I have a doubt. I'm interested in dentistry at the same time, also interested in law studies. Is that possible for me to do whole 2 degrees in dentistry and law? Wow. Two very heavy subjects.
Yes. I mean, and it's two totally different world actually. so so I don't probably if you are now, I don't know whether you already finished your SPM or you are still in SPM level. Maybe you should think for yourself, where is your passion, and what
But mm,
what would be the best, because sometimes it's not that you can't. Maybe you have all the ability to do both the degrees, and you may do well in both, but end of the day, what is your I mean your motive of doing this, or what you're going to achieve, if it matters, because it's all about cost and the time. And if you have done two professional courses like this, somehow along the line you got to decide to be either in one only, right? So I don't see a reason why you want to torture yourself.
okay, Darshita, do consult us. We would advise you to
Yeah,
conclude
I
either
think.
one, or
Mhm.
take up one. Now, Kirtana, coming to you, can art stream student do study law? Yes, definitely,
Of
no issue in
course.
that. I'm
Of
an art
course,
stream student
I'm an
from
art student too.
yeah. So now we are here. So Simon and Patrick, human problems are too complicated. We still need lawyers. Robots will run away. Yes. They will go error. Uh, okay, last question of the day, ma'am. Hey Shvina. Hi, madam. Currently doing a master's in sustainable development. Previously, BBA human resource, diploma in BA. Which I need to choose to be a lawyer. Is that diploma, degree, or master's? It is degree in law. Okay,
Degree
and
of
an
the,
LLB.
the LLB, yes. LLB is your degree, not your LLM. LLM is your master.
Correct. So I think those are the questions, and it is we have a minute left before we close the session for today. So coming back to you, Miss Visha, it has been 20 years for you in practice, and so what would your advice would be to a young lawyer or a young graduate or a SPM, STPM student, they are passionate to join the fraternity, they want to fight for the justice and do the right cause. So what would your advice would be?
Okay. I mean, if you really have decided this is what I'm going to pursue, we have to realize a lawyer can make a difference. So, I mean, when you go to any place, if being a lay person and tell something, and at the same time a lawyer telling the same thing, you can see some changes when the words come from a lawyer. So it shows if we really want have the passion to carry out justice or whatever you put it, as long as you are not doing any harm, you are all who, I mean, have the best avenue in your hand as a law graduate to do. It doesn't matter which career path you are choosing, but upon completion of your legal degree, you cannot deny the fact your way of looking at things changes. We see things differently with our legal knowledge. So maybe the lay person or other people who they don't they see, I mean, it's not to say that we are a better person, no. But we can make a difference with the legal knowledge that we have. I think I mean, probably initially I don't realize that, but as you grow matured with your experience and experience with the life, you can see your legal knowledge definitely will help you. In doesn't matter in which field you are attached to, no matter private practice or academician or civil service or voluntarism, everything. Because your life, it's like a daily life, you know. Legal knowledge is even you are not practicing, one fine day you feel like you are not going to practice to earn money, but as a ordinary citizen, you know what is your rights. It's like the Indian movie or the whatever Tamil picture, you know right what is your rights, and you can always use that knowledge to help others. So that's where I see that's the beauty of the legal degree. So it's definitely one of the field that uh, you will never have a regret. I suppose most of us, somehow we managing and we are surviving, and and it goes the same to other careers also. So if you have the opportunity, don't have the fear or thinking that yourself you can't achieve this legal degree or can't be a law graduate. The world is very wide. It's end of the day, it depends whether you want to pursue it or not. So if you have all the opportunities, please go ahead.
Thank you, Miss Shah. Thank you so much. It has been a wonderful evening with you, a great sharing session with you, and on behalf of the organizers, I would like to extend our deepest appreciation to you. Thank you so much for coming and spending your precious 2 hours. I'm sure you have court cases to prepare for tomorrow. So thank you so much. And thank you to all the participants here. It's been a good sharing session, and we hope to catch up with you all soon in other segments. And if there are further questions on legal industry, we may invite maybe more speakers in the future on specific niche area, and we can have further discussion. So thank you so much. It has been a pleasant evening with you all. Have a good day. Have a wonderful week ahead, and thank you so much from myself, and thank you so much from Miss Visha. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
and
Thank you,
see you
Kale. Thank
all.
you, everyone. Okay, bye.
Bye.